better to get this fixed. Lamar, what do you expect from Kyler Murray in his third year?
You know, I expect more balance from Kyler Murray. I think that at times he relied a little bit more on his athletic ability and athleticism. And I'm one to really be very sensitive when speaking on using your athletic ability, as I was one of those players. They said all he was is a little bit of athletics and he wasn't a football player. Well, I think that there is brilliance in utilizing your athleticism. There's also brilliance in understanding what's going on out there on the field. And I think that Kyler Murray coming into this season understands a whole lot about what defenses are trying to do to him and to this team in particular, schematically speaking. I think Kyler Murray also understands what his coach in Kingsbury is trying to get done and why he's trying to get it done. And I think that the more understanding that you have on why a coach is trying to position players here, like it has to be precise, understanding those things. Why are we putting DeAndre Hopkins 3 yards inside of the hash, 3 yards outside of the hash? Why do we have him on the numbers when the ball is on the opposite hash? All of those different things that maybe philosophically you didn't understand why or take the time to really think about it. You don't understand why the play is breaking down. You don't understand that what part of the route you're supposed to be thinking you should be letting that ball go. You hold the ball for a couple seconds longer than you should, maybe 1 second longer than you should, and now you're taking off and you're running. This offensive line didn't take great care of Kyler Murray at times during the season last year. Kyler Murray has to understand schematically why he's doing what he's doing, and I think that knowing what it is that he wants to do, adding some old guys like we've been talking theme-wise for this show, adding old guys. You add A.J. Green to that receiving core. Hopefully, we don't know what Larry Fitzgerald, at least I haven't gotten any reports back yet. Maybe somebody's gotten something different, but I'm not sure what Larry Fitzgerald is doing this year. But you got A.J. Green. You got, obviously, have DeAndre Hopkins on this roster. You add James Conner to your backfield, and even though he wasn't great for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think that that's an interesting addition to watch. He does have weapons that he can utilize and really, really create some more opportunities for himself. So for me, I think the biggest thing is what I first said, is understanding philosophically exactly why guys are aligned where they're aligned, how the defense is going to align based off of where they're aligning, what you look for, and how you create basically compromising situations with the defense and taking advantage of those things when those plays are called.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you, LeVar. I really like Kyler Murray. First half of last season, man, the dude was awesome. Fell off a little bit in the second half. So I think some of what you said is applicable, because I think he'll be a smarter quarterback this year, and that'll help him sustain his level of play. You mentioned all the weapons he has around him. That's great. DeAndre Hopkins helped him big time last year. Now they have even more weapons. So I expect that to help him. But when I look at the second half of last season, and I don't want to say some teams figured him out to some degree, but he was down in everything. I mean, wins. They went 5-3 over the first half, 3-5 over the second half. His completion percentage was down. His yards per game was down almost 40 yards per game. His touchdown to interception ratio was down. His passer rating was down 10 percentage points. His rushing was way down. 6 of the 8 games that he rushed for 50 or more yards were in the first 8 games, first half of the season. So I need him to sustain it, because he was looking like a dynamo in the first half of the season, but then he began to slow down over the second half. And I think, like you said, being more cerebral will help him sustain it over 16 games. I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowler like last year. I don't think he should have made it over Tom Brady last year, but I think you'll have Rodgers, Brady, and Russell Wilson in the NFC. But I do think he can have a better year than he had last year.
Yeah, I like the Arizona Cardinals to get to the playoffs next year. I am bullish, extremely bullish on Kyler Murray. Chris, you articulated it well. First half, he was incredible, but you forgot to mention the injuries in the second half of the season. And he could not run. If you look at that Patriots game, it's
sore.
on YouTube. He was banged up, and the Patriots strategy is what everybody did. We're not going to send our ends up the field and really pressure him. We're just going to stay at the line of scrimmage and contain him. And Kyler Murray, maybe because of his size, could not deliver from the pocket. He's a great quarterback, but without the legs as a threat, he's a much diminished figure. All that being said, I have someone very close in the organization. They love Kyler Murray there. They like Cliff Kingsbury. This is a team on the uptick. Rondale Moore, you know him well, LeVar. Yeah. Big Ten guy. That's a huge addition for Cliff Kingsbury. But Kingsbury, I think, is the bigger focus than Kyler Murray. Because I'm telling you guys, Cliff Kingsbury needs to come out of his comfort zone. What worked for him back in the day in college worked early, and teams adjusted. Defensive adjusted. Kingsbury, he doesn't move around DeAndre Hopkins. You made a good point, LeVar. There was a heat map last year where like 90% of DeAndre Hopkins' targets came from like the same area on the field. And defenses are smart in the NFL. They noticed that, and the Cardinals became predictable in the second half of the season. I am extremely bullish. I like the A.J. Green. I like Rondale Moore. As long as Kyler Murray is still a threat with his legs, and Chris, those running numbers are scary, because if he's not running, it's like, is this guy going to kill us? I like the Cardinals as a playoff team in a brutal division, LeVar.
Just really quickly, Kyler Murray can throw from the pocket. He can be a pocket passing quarterback. But I think it also comes down to, again, understanding where your windows of opportunity will be. And that was something that I think became a little bit more evident and more apparent to defenses, that maybe he wasn't as far ahead as he needed to be on understanding where his looks and where his reads, first read, second read, third read would be, and understanding that creating those moments with an injury situation where he's not going to move as fast, he's depending on his legs because he hasn't quite gotten to that cerebral approach of how he's going to find his receivers or to even just throw it away in those situations. I think he'll be much better in doing that this year, and I think it will keep defenses a little bit more at bay as to how they're going to prepare for this Arizona Cardinals offense.
10th best odds to win the MVP award.